Do you know translation aid system?
Translation A system. I don't know translation A
It's something like Google Translate or Yahoo Translate,
Okay.
or translate things on the computers.
Okay.
Yes. So, like, do you learn Chinese? You have questions. What do you usually use?
I use Google Translate.
You use Google
If I'm gonna
Translate.
translate something on the computer, that's usually what I use. And then I have a couple of apps on the smartphone that I use if I don't have internet.
Could you, for example?
The two that I use the most, one's called Hanping Dictionary.
I
And
know.
I like it because it has the writing system. I think a lot of them do now, but like you can write just with your finger. But early on, it had that one when others didn't. And then Pleco, as in Pleco,
Okay.
is another one that's pretty popular, and because it's on like the iPad, iOS, and the Android, and so I like using that one sometimes too.
So you still prefer writing more than pinyin?
I think it just depends on what situation, like how
Okay.
you need to translate something. So sometimes if you see the character and maybe you're guessing what it is, or you don't know,
Oh, yes,
you don't
you're
know what
right.
pinyin, how to pronounce it, then the easiest way is to just write that character.
Okay.
And then sometimes it's a better way to try and get yourself to remember it, to write it instead of typing it. So
So you for you, you only learn other languages like Chinese, or learn others.
I've studied some other languages before, but this, I guess Chinese is the one where I've really tried. I've used the technology the most, as far as any online translating type of stuff.
Oh, okay. So you usually use Google, but you would not like how to say search this word, what it mean. We use Google all the things other website have another thing tell about how to use that or what it means.
What's your question?
A little bit like because sometimes Google only tell you maybe one meaning.
Right.
Maybe it's not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So how if you want to know more?
Oh, that's a good question. I guess I try not to use the online translating stuff too much. So I try to do things within my vocabulary, within what I know, and that's because very quickly you can get into trouble if you just say, oh, what's this word in English? I want to know the Chinese word, and then you take the first thing that the translator tells you, and then you use it in your Chinese sentence. You're probably going to be saying something wrong or in a way that doesn't make sense. So I think more often I use it if I find if there's already a sentence that someone else has written, and there's a certain part of it that I don't understand, or I want to make sure I understand it, and then I'll use the translate to see if that matches what I think it says.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's sometimes words if I can't remember what the word is in Chinese, but I know the English, and so but if I see it in Chinese, I'll be like, oh, that was the word I was looking for.
Oh, okay.
Or sometimes words are related, so I know a similar word, and then I look one up, and it's got one character that's the same, so I feel more comfortable. Like, oh, this word probably means close to what I want, so I will try using that one and see if it has the right meaning.
Okay. So you don't like to use Google Translate or?
I do like it for certain things. I think it's really helpful for certain things. I think the time when I use it the most is if I'm chatting online.
Oh, yes.
Because it's more casual and there's not as much risk if you use a wrong word. People will just say, what do you mean? Or they'll just tell you the right word. If I was writing like essay or homework or even an email, something that's a little bit more important, I will probably try and not use translate unless I have to, for finding the words. It feels like it's safer to stay with what I know mostly.
Okay, so what do you think Google Translate can improve?
What could it improve on? I mean, it's a pretty good piece of software. I've noticed it get a little better because I've been using it for a while. I think sometimes with the words, you don't know what part of speech it is, if it's nouns, verbs, adjectives. And I think recently they actually started that. Sometimes example sentences might be a nice thing to see. If there was a word that you look up and it could give you some examples of different usage, so then you'd have a better idea if that's the word that you actually want. And besides that, there's probably a lot of things it could improve on, but it's pretty decent. I think if you expect it to just explain everything for you and translate everything perfectly, you're very disappointed with the translator. But if you just use it as one small tool to help you